Karti Chidambaram of the Congress joining us. Karti, here is a big relief for Rahul Gandhi. The court stays conviction, also raising questions on the reasoning to why the trial court had given maximum punishment. Your take on that?
Yeah, we always knew that we will get justice in the Supreme Court. This was a reverse engineered case. This should have never led to this kind of a conviction or sentencing. I'm glad that the Supreme Court has reversed it. This will restore Mr. Rahul Gandhi's membership to the Lok Sabha. We look forward to seeing him there on Monday.
All right. As fast as that, Karti, the court has also asked for Rahul Gandhi to speak with caution. And it's the top court directing the face of the Congress party not to speak in such a fashion.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi is an experienced public person. He knows the import of his words. And I'm sure that he will take the well-meaning advice given by the Supreme Court into consideration. But we have to see whether this is an obiter dictum or part of the order of the Supreme Court.
Right. Well, we also have Nalin Kohli of the BJP joining us. Mr. Kohli, give us your sense on Rahul Gandhi's conviction being stayed by the top court, raising also questions on why such maximum punishment was given. The trial court has been asked to give reasoning on that.
Well, as a lawyer, I can simply say this is standard procedure that if someone doesn't get a relief from one of the other courts, in this case, the original court which convicted him, the appellate court, then the High Court, he had the legal right to come before the Honorable Supreme Court. That right exists for every Indian citizen. Even non-citizens can come. But if you come before the Supreme Court, the case was argued, and if the Supreme Court has stayed it, that is part of legal process, it's a judicial order. So I don't know what else would be expected to comment on this at this stage.
You know, Karti Chidambaram, who tells us that Rahul Gandhi is all set to get back to business. His membership as MP will be restored. Monday, he should likely be in the parliament.
That is provided the Congress party wants parliament to run, because they haven't really shown much interest in seeing that parliament runs. If parliament runs, then you can say, otherwise it will be just a visit to the parliament, not exactly participating in the parliament. The second aspect is, what is Mr. Rahul Gandhi's track record in Parliament, how many questions he's asked, how much has been his presence. That data would speak for itself. I don't have that figures handy.
Rahul Gandhi has also been warned by the Supreme Court, asking him to speak with caution. I did ask the question to the Congress spokesperson. He says, what about the many appalling statements made by the BJP?
I think the Congress spokesperson is forgetting that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, as one who's convicted in a case, has been cautioned when he went before the Supreme Court seeking the Supreme Court's indulgence in staying his conviction. So I think the circumstances are different. You can't compare apples with oranges. The Congress spokesperson would probably have a limitation of needing to comment on his supreme leader. After all, the Congress party's entire leadership primarily either comes from the Nehru-Gandhi family or it's at least decided by the Nehru-Gandhi family. So from that context, he could not have. But Mr. Rahul Gandhi hasn't listened to that advice in the past, has he? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had this case. Neither if on the last occasion, when he went before the Honorable Supreme Court a few years ago, he was given the same advice. After that, he came out with this infamous statement that why are people with all Modi's surnames thieves? As a result of which he has faced a conviction. So if Mr. Rahul Gandhi chooses to take that advice seriously, perhaps he may not face any cases on defamation in the future and protect his own, political and personal.
But the accusation against the BJP is that this was a made-up case, this was deliberately done, and the Supreme Court has overturned that. That's what the Congress says.
Well, then the Congress party has to first understand, are they indulging in double speak? At least half the spokespersons whom I have heard used to say we have full faith in the courts, in rule of law. So if you have faith, how can you say the BJP is the one which handed in the conviction? The conviction came from a court of law after following due process. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is just like any other Indian citizen, you, me, another person. Our rights are identical under the Constitution. He, you, me, anyone else doesn't have special rights under the Indian Constitution. So if due process is followed, if a court of law convicts you, the appellate court does not choose to give you relief. The High Court rejects that relief. That doesn't mean these courts are run by the BJP. And anyone who's saying that, it's a perversity, politically irresponsible, It is lack of faith and belief in the Constitution and the due process of courts, and it also smacks of a malafide kind of intention.
Right, Nalin Kohli, thank you very much for joining us, speaking to India Today.